I read an article earlier today that said that 53% of young adults are giving up on their dreams. And that blew my mind because I was like, wow, that's more than half. So that means that all of you that are watching this video right now, more than half of you have already given up or are going to give up on your dreams. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see that happen. You see, I thought that most of the times that people get stuck in their struggle because of two reasons. Number one, they get weak and they give up. Or number two, they let fear to grip them and they become paralyzed. So look at me, for example. I've been in a wheelchair and I'm physically weak. There's some days that I'm physically weak and I can't get out of the bed because of the condition that I have. But I know that regardless of the way that I feel, I have to get up, I have to get out of my bed, and I have to put in the work if I want to get to where I want to go in life. There is no using an excuse as, oh, you're in a wheelchair, so you get, several days off because of your condition. Some people do that? Absolutely. Do I do that? Not at all. Because I know that I have a goal and I have a plan and a purpose and I have a dream. And in order for me to get to that place that I want to get to, I have to put in the work. So there's no excuses. And so number two is the fear. A lot of times people will get, afraid. And sometimes fear isn't even being like scared of something. It could just be being afraid of something. So you may not continue moving because you're afraid that you don't have the resources or you don't have the connections or that you don't know how to speak in front of people or that you may not have all the tools that you need to get the job done. And so you're hesitant and you become hesitant, and that hesitation can turn into a slight fear. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're scared of it. It just means that you're afraid to move forward. And you just need to figure out what you need to do to get unstuck. And I know that you know how to do that. Because you know how I know that? Because I've learned how to do it. And if I've learned how to do it, that means that you can learn to do the same thing. You see, I put a post up earlier today of a guy carrying me on his back. And my family and I were going to Jamaica to this place called the Blue Hole. And in order for me to get into the water, in order for you to get into the water, you would have had to climb over boulders and tree stumps and things like that. And I thought that I wouldn't be able to go, so I was getting ready to just sit back and watch my family. And out of nowhere, this guy came up to me and said that, he asked me, he said, do you want to get into the water? And I said, yeah, but how am I going to get there? And he said, I'll carry you. You see, sometimes you may feel stuck. You may feel like you can't move forward, but the universe has a way of bringing people into your path that'll help you get to where you want to go. So keep pushing forward. You see, if I would have never been willing to get on that man's back and get into the water, I would have never experienced one of the best experiences that I've had in my life. But the reason I was able to was because we were both not caring about all the people that were around us staring at me and staring at him. We didn't care about everybody who had their cameras out taking pictures and video of us while he was putting me on his back and carrying me into the water. We didn't care about those things. And because we didn't care about those things, I was successful in getting to the water. Now, I don't know about you, but and some of you may know my story, but if you know my story, you know that there's a lot of physical things that I can't do and can't participate in because of my situation. So the fact that I was able to crush my struggle and get on this man's back and be willing to go and chase after an experience that I wanted to experience was the reason why I was able to do it. And so if you're watching this video, I want to let you know that if you're growing weak, right, we get tired. The reality is that we get tired, we get frustrated, we get overwhelmed. But don't let that get you stuck and stagnant and stranded in the same place that you've been in for all these years. They say that overnight success takes 10 years. So have you been working your dream for 5 years, for 3 years, for 2 years? And if you have, then you know that it gets overwhelming. But I want to let you know that you don't have to let that stop you. You don't have to let your struggle become your standard. You can push through until you get through. So I want to leave you with this. This is the year that it's time for you to get out of the struggle and into the water and go with the flow. And I hope to see you on the other side.